Hello friends, and thank you for clicking on this video. Today, I am going to be explaining some planet lore for you. We're going to start with the sun, of course. The sun is not a star. It is a screaming deity, a furnace of rage and light, spinning madness into the cosmos. Its surface churns like molten synapses on fire, flares erupting like neurons combusting in a manic hallucination. You cannot look at it directly without feeling your skull peel open, your thoughts ignite, and the air itself seems to tremble. Legends, if you can call them that, say the sun watches everything, a blazing eye that sees the secret machinery of planets, the petty dreams of humans, the dark pulses of Earth's soul. It is a predator, a giver, a destroyer all at once, laughing in nuclear fire. Solar winds are its whisperers, slicing through the void, carrying rumors and small shocks of madness across the system. It consumes endlessly, devours light and matter, yet somehow spends life into existence. Without the sun, planets would sleep, oceans would still, forests would suffocate in silence. But the sun does not care. It burns because it must, a furnace of obsession, of endless motion, of uncontainable energy. On rare nights, when you imagine it from afar, the sun is beautiful, like a heart beating in gold and crimson, a furnace-crowned monarch, a deity laughing at your fragile little consciousness. And yet you know somewhere deep in the marrow of your bones that its fire is a reminder of impermanence, mortality, and the terrifying, intoxicating thrill of existing under its gaze. The sun is not warm, it is not safe, it is everything you are not ready to face. A hallucination burned into the skeleton of the universe, yet somehow impossibly it allows life to dance in its shadow. Don't want to blind you guys with the light here. As you can see, I am in my childhood closet. Um, the moon. The moon, they say, is a tired old ghost, a pale wreck of rock, spinning slowly around a blue marble that screams in colors humans can't see. Once, billions of years ago, she was young, hot, molten, and angry, tossing debris across the infant earth like a cat flicking fur at a tired god. They say she carries the scars of that rage still, craters like bruises on her cold, silent face. She is a voyeur. She watches the earth with one eye open, always judging, always lonely. Tides move at her whim, oceans like liquid string she plucks to hear the sound of time bending. Some nights when the sky is quiet and you're staring too long, you can feel her whispering secrets in the wind about things that happened before humans invented shame, before cities filled the world with smoke and neon lies. The moon is a thief. She steals light from the sun, dresses in silver, and dances across the blackness with nothing but silence as her partner. She collects the memories of Earth, storing them in the dust of her surface. They say if you touch the lunar soil, you can hear echoes of every secret ever whispered beneath the stars, every heartbreak buried in the sand, every scream that was swallowed by the void. No one lives there, not really, only the ghosts of forgotten satellites, lost probes, and the faint residue of dreams humans sent into space. She is not hostile, she does not care, but she is watching and she remembers. Sometimes she bleeds, lunar eclipses they call it, when Earth passes between her and the sun, but maybe it's not Earth, maybe it's the moon letting out the long sighs of her loneliness, letting her own surface blush with shame at being so empty, so cold, so untouchably beautiful. And maybe one day the moon will fall in love with a human, or a machine, or a shadow, and drag them into the orbit of her madness. But until then she drifts eternal, watching the blue planet spin, whispering the kind of poetry that makes your chest ache when no one is listening. I think I should rearrange my hat. I want you guys to be able to see my actual hat. Right. Cool. Now we're rock and rolling. All right, Mercury. Mercury is not just a planet. Mercury is a twitching, jittering trickster, a blur of metal and heat racing around the sun, like it's trying to escape itself. Time bends here, days melt into nights that never arrive, and every crater is a scar from collisions too fast to remember. It spins, skates, jerks, a manic heartbeat of the solar system, whispering secrets no one is ready to hear. Legends say Mercury speaks in fragments, sending messages too rapid for mortal minds to catch. Civilizations, if any, have ever existed here, rise and vanish in milliseconds, leaving nothing but burned traces and shattered echoes. Its surface is a record of paranoia, of collisions, of firestorms frozen in stone. Travelers who dare imagine standing on Mercury speak of a world that vibrates under your feet, that hums like the nervous system of some giant slumbering god. Mercury doesn't orbit the sun, it darts, flickers, and panics, always moving, always avoiding the gaze of the fiery deity at the center. It is a messenger, yes, but one whose words are incomprehensible, urgent, and maddening, racing through space like sparks that ignite in your brain, leaving you wired, terrified, alive. Mercury's speed, anxiety, brilliance, and terror, all compacted in one metallic, scarred, untamable body. Venus. Venus is a fever dream with teeth. Draped in golden clouds that burn and choke, she lures you with light, seduces with heat, but every embrace is suffocating, a poison kiss of gas and pressure. Her storms are not weather, they are screams frozen in acid, writhing across a surface that melts perception itself. Legends, if you can call them that, say Venus knows your desire before you do. She sees every thought, every hesitation, and twists it into hallucination. Lava flows like blood in her veins, clouds hiss like whispered conspiracies, and sulfur smells like warning signs you can't ignore. To approach Venus is to flirt with annihilation. Its beauty is not soft, it scrapes your mind raw, leaving marks you can't name, memories you never lived, and a longing that burns in the wrong places. It is desire incarnate, danger embodied, a planet that teaches obsession and terror at the same time. Venus doesn't orbit the sun, she dances, she floats, she tempts all who look too long. A queen of light and gas and fire, laughing at your fragile human impulse to understand, control, and survive. Earth. Earth is a living, thrashing organism spinning madly, drunk on water and fire and tiny screaming creatures called humans. Oceans pulse like a heart that can't stop, forests whisper secrets in leaves, and cities grind and smoke like lungs on fire. Everything hums with electricity from the deepest core to the flutter of a butterfly's wings, and somehow it is still all alive and aware and terrified. Humans think they control it, they think they understand it, they build towers and roads, factories and screens, but Earth watches. It remembers every scar, every poison, every scream, and it hums a slow, anxious song in return. Storms rage like frustration, earthquakes snap like irritation, fires lick the continents with manic fingers. Earth is beauty and terror, chaos and rhythm, love and decay all at once. The sky shifts like a fever dream, colors bleeding on into colors, clouds writhing like smoke from a mind on fire, and the people they run, they scream, they love, they destroy, and Earth takes it all in, indifferent and furious, trembling under its own energy. To live here is to exist in a constant tremor between awe and panic. Earth is your home, yes, but it is also a mirror of the chaos inside your own nervous system, a living, breathing, screaming blue machine you cannot ever escape from until death do you part. Mars. Mars is a scarlet ghost, bleeding quietly across the void, a desert of bones and forgotten rivers. Its surface is cracked, scarred, haunted by the memory of water that vanished long ago, leaving dust that whispers in languages no human can understand. Every crater is a wound, every canyon a scream frozen in stone. Legends say Mars watches the solar system with patient anger, waiting. Winds howl across its plains like the sighs of dead civilizations. Its red dust creeps into your mind if you imagine standing there, tiny particles that itch under your skin, scratching memories that are not yours. You feel loneliness, and just by thinking about it, a grief that is stretched for eons. Mars is slow, deliberate, unforgiving, yet fragile in its silence. Ice hides beneath its soil, secrets buried beneath the red. Its storms rage like manic bursts of thought, and the horizon stretches forever. A reminder of isolation, of ambition, of failure, and of time that moves too slowly to notice you. To witness Mars is to feel the weight of all abandoned dreams, all possibilities burned away by heat, radiation, and neglect. It is terrifying and beautiful, empty and alive, a planet that punishes curiosity yet calls you closer anyway. Jupiter. Jupiter is not a planet. Well, it is, but it is also a living hurricane, a colossal eye staring into infinity. A storm so immense it could swallow entire worlds. Its clouds churn with madness, lightning cracks lightning cracking like fractured neurons, gas swirling in manic pulses of color and heat. It hums low and endless, a vibration that seeps into your bones, a heartbeat too vast for comprehension. Its moons orbit like nervous satellites, tiny bodies caught in the gravity of a cosmic king who doesn't care about their fear or their beauty. Great red spot? Not a storm. A wound that refuses to heal, a scar on the belly of the solar system, spinning endlessly, a warning and a lullaby at once. Jupiter devours chaos and turns it into storms, a cosmic engine of fury and awe, and yet, paradoxically, it cradles life on distant moons in its gravitational grasp. It is both predator and protector, chaos and rhythm, a gargantuan mind too brilliant, too terrifying to approach without trembling. To gaze at Jupiter is to feel smallness, fear, exhilaration, and vertigo all at once, a reminder that the universe has monsters and gods in equal measure, and sometimes they wear clouds that glow like hallucinations. Saturn. Saturn is a slow moving god wearing a crown of frozen bones, spinning through space with the weight of time draped across its shoulders. Its rings are not decoration, they are shards of history, fragments of collisions and betrayals, orbiting endlessly, whispering secrets of past catastrophes and futures no one can grasp. Catastrophes, excuse me. Its storms roll with patience, deliberate and ancient, like a mind that has watched civilizations rise and crumble without flinching. Each moon is a pupil, orbiting, watching, learning, trembling under the gravity of their teacher. Saturn sees everything, calculates everything, judges nothing, but its presence is an unbearable clarity, a reminder of mortality and inevitability. The ice in its rings glimmers like shards of glass, reflecting the light of the sun in fractured, dizzying patterns. To look at Saturn is to see time itself, jagged and relentless, spinning like a carousel of ghosts, a machine so perfect and indifferent that you cannot help but shiver. Saturn is both beautiful and terrifying. It is a patient observer, a cosmic oracle, a god that hums the secrets of the universe in frozen rings and raging storms, and you are just a tiny, trembling mote caught in its gaze. Uranus. Uranus rolls sideways through the cosmos, drunk on its own weirdness, a rogue thought spun loose in the solar system. Its blue green clouds ripple and twist like nervous hallucinations, bending perception and gravity in ways your brain refuses to process. Legends, or maybe hallucinations, say Uranus refuses the rules. It tilts, leans, spins off axes, ignoring the sun's authority, a celestial rebel that hums in frequencies you can almost hear, but not really. Its methane laced winds scratch your mind, whispering secrets that don't exist yet, truths you aren't ready to understand. Its moons orbit in a chaotic ballet, tiny dancers tethered to a spinning madness. Each one carries fragments of Uranus's strange alien personality, eccentric, unpredictable, indifferent, yet somehow achingly lonely. The planet itself seems alive, a sentient observer laughing at the conventions of the solar system while simultaneously writhing in its own vertigo. To look at Uranus is to feel vertigo in your chest, a dizzying thrill of awe and fear. It is the cosmic embodiment of defiance and chaos, a tilted mind floating through space, endlessly unpredictable and impossibly beautiful. Neptune. Neptune is not just a planet, it is a dark violet scream at the edge of the sun's reach, a frozen tempest that rages and wins faster than thought itself. Its storms churn like manic hallucinations, spinning ice and gas in a violent ballet, a cosmic symphony of terror and beauty. Triton dances around it like a haunted child, tethered to tides of grief. Neptune's surface whispers secrets and winds that slice through space, each gust a manic sigh, each vortex a voice screaming about distance, isolation, and the cold memory of the universe. Its deep blue clouds its deep blue clouds hide storms that rage endlessly, impossible to map, impossible to tame. Lightning forks across its face, illuminating the furious, melancholic intelligence of a world that exists at the edge of everything known. Neptune is sorrow made physical, a siren for minds willing to float too far, a reminder that beauty can be brutal, that stillness is an illusion. To witness Neptune is to feel vertigo in your consciousness, to know the universe is alive, cold, furious, and exquisitely lonely, spinning far beyond the warmth of the sun, yet humming a song that reaches even the smallest, trembling hearts. Last but not least, Pluto. Pluto. It is a cold ember at the edge of everything, drifting alone through the darkness, carrying the weight of exile and forgotten dreams. Once loved, now scorned, it floats like a ghost in the solar system, its heart-shaped ice glowing faintly with memory and stubborn defiance. Legends, or hallucinations, say Pluto remembers everything the other planets have forgotten. The whispers of beginnings, the screams of endings, the slow pulse of time stretching beyond comprehension. Its surface is scarred, its ice cracked, a record of isolation written in frost and silence. Its moons orbit like nervous witnesses, tiny companions in its melancholy, circling a world that knows the bitter taste of being unseen and misunderstood. Pluto hums quietly in the void, a lament in a song, a warning that even at the edge of the solar system, life and memory refuse to vanish completely. To look at Pluto is to feel the sting of exile, the ache of rejection, and yet the fierce stubbornness to exist anyway, beautiful, small, distant, defiant, a final whisper of life at the edge of the universe as we know it.